and welcome to the Park2Park podcast, where we compare theme park offerings from coast to coast. We don't always see eye to eye, but in the end, we'll try. I'm one of your hosts, CJ, and I'm joined by my co-host, Alli. Alli, how are you doing tonight?
Hey CJ, I'm doing great. I got to watch the latest episode of Book of Boba Fett tonight, so I am in a happy Star Wars mood. How are you?
Nice. I am doing well. We rode the Skyliner today just for fun and went on a walk, so it's a good day.
There you go. Good day.
Cool. Well, this episode we are talking about the hotels out at the Disneyland Resort in Anaheim and Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando. So let's start by talking about which on-property or off-property hotels we've stayed at. Alli, take it away.
Oh, you didn't tell me we were talking about off-property too.
I'm going to make you think on your feet here.
Okay. So, at Disney World, I have stayed at All Star Sports and All Star Music. And apparently we stayed at the Contemporary in 2000.
Yes.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. I don't remember it. And then that's all for the East Coast. For California, I've stayed at the Disneyland Hotel and the Grand Californian Hotel. And then we stayed when we went to the D23 Expo one year, we stayed at a hotel that I will refrain from naming because they had cockroaches.
They don't exist anymore. They demolished that hotel.
Oh, cool. What's the name of it?
I don't remember. I feel like it was named after a flower, maybe.
I'm thinking like tropical. Like it's something to do with the tropical flower. But anyways, it had cockroaches and it apparently doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it was like right behind California Screamin', wasn't it?
Yeah, it was down that street a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, they built a really nice looking hotel that kind of looks like the Bellagio in Vegas. It kind of has that vibe. I don't know what it is now, but it looks like a luxury hotel now.
Hopefully no cockroaches.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully those were evicted. And then at another D23 Expo, was it a Hilton? That's right close to the convention center.
Yes.
Yeah. So how's that for the pop quiz there?
That was pretty good.
Your turn.
So I've stayed at all three on-property hotels at Disneyland, which are the Disneyland Hotel, Grand Californian Hotel and Spa, Paradise Pier Hotel. I've stayed at all the ones that you listed off-property because we stayed at those together. And then I stayed at an additional one. I don't remember what it was called, but it was for a friend's bachelorette party. Here in Florida, I've stayed at all of the All-Stars, Pop Century Resort, Caribbean Beach Resort, Kidani Village, which is part of Animal Kingdom Lodge, Saratoga Springs Resort. I stayed at the Contemporary at some point. I don't remember it. What's your favorite that you stayed at?
I have a lot less hotel time than you, and when I go to Florida, I tend to go to the All Stars because I'm just doing parks all day, and the hotel is just a place for me to sleep at night. Mm-hmm. But I want to say that my favorite is the Grand Californian of the places that I've stayed, just because one is gorgeous, two, like it's really nice when you're not a hotel guest too, and it's just the proximity to the parks is really nice. There's a lot of things to love about the Grand Californian.
Yeah, I agree. The proximity to the parks is something that when we were prepping for this, we didn't really talk about. That's like it. What's really unique about that is it's technically in California Adventure.
Yeah.
Like some years of the park map, if you look at the California Adventure park map, it's listed on the park map. Like it's that close. So that's really, and it has its own dedicated entrance into the park, which is really cool.
Yeah, we use that a lot.
Yeah, and one of my favorite restaurants is right there, and it's super easy to like pop in and out to go eat really quick and escape from the park.
Yeah.
I think I had a hard time like narrowing down my favorite. I mean, well, okay, at Disneyland, I definitely have a favorite. At Walt Disney World, it was harder, so I'm going to start with Walt Disney World. My favorite that I've stayed at Walt Disney World is Kidani Village. Animal Kingdom Lodge is divided into like two separate hotels. There's Jumbo House, and then there's Kidani Village. Kidani is entirely vacation club units, so the rooms are all studios, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, or 3-bedroom. Whereas Jumbo House is a mix of like standard hotel rooms plus DVC. But Kidani Village, when we stayed there, it was really, I don't know. The lobby is not like huge and grand like Jumbo House is. Jumbo House is a lot like the Grand Californian where you have that big like 6-story open air feeling.
Mhm.
Kidani Village is a lot smaller feeling and it felt very home-like and simple. And I think there is like a beauty to that that simplicity. It felt very cozy to me and very welcoming. So I liked that. It was very calming at the end of the day. And then at the Disneyland Resort, Disneyland Hotel, hands down, my favorite, no question. I worked at both the Grand Californian and Disneyland hotels, and that one was my favorite to work at, my favorite to stay at. Like, I just love that hotel for a lot of reasons.
So, how many on-property hotels are there at Disney World?
There are so many. So they're divided into categories, first of all. There's the value resorts, the moderate resorts, deluxe resorts, and then there's DVC resorts, which are technically deluxe resorts, and then there's a campground. So for value resorts, you've got 5. For moderate, you also have 5. For deluxe, you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For DVC, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then a campground.
So 30 plus the campground.
Yeah, but some of the DVC ones overlap with the deluxe resorts. Like deluxe, there's Animal Kingdom Lodge, but then there's also like DVC units at Animal Kingdom Lodge. But there's a lot of options, a lot of options.
So for the campground, are they like cabins or do you have to bring like your own tent or trailer or like camping gear?
Well, there are cabins that you can stay in, but there's also like tent camping sites and there's RV camping sites with like hookups and everything. So there's a variety of options there. And I think those are the cheapest places to stay. I mean, tent camping is like $100 a night. So if you really wanted to camp, you could.
There you go.
Yeah. Now, what about Disneyland? How many hotels do we have there?
You can count it on one hand. 3. How many inches do you got? 3. How many hotels do you got? 3. It's a great Disney number. 3.
Yeah.
You have the Grand Californian, you have the Paradise Pier Hotel, and you have the Disneyland Hotel, which is the OG. It's the original Disneyland Hotel. Walt Disney actually ran out of money when he was building Disneyland, and he could not build his own hotel. So the Rather Corporation stepped in. They struck a deal with Walt to build the Disneyland Hotel, which opened in October 1955, which, if you recall, Disneyland opened in July 1955, so within a couple of months. The Disney company did not buy the hotel from the Rather Company until 1988.
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever Disneyland celebrates an anniversary, a couple months later, like the Disney Parks blog is like, oh, and the Disneyland Hotel is also celebrating. So it's a historic hotel. And if you go check it out, there's some nods to 1955 in the decor, which is one of the things I love about it. Also, fun fact about the Paradise Pier Hotel, Disney didn't build that hotel either. That was, yeah, that was built by a Japanese company. I think Japanese. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But there's actually a 13th story on that hotel because they don't have the same superstition about the 13th floor that Americans do. So yeah, if you ever wanted to stay on a 13th floor, that's where you can go stay on a 13th floor. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I wonder, how they got rid of Paradise Pier in California Adventure?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they're ever going to retheme the Paradise Pier Hotel.
So they made it Pixar Pier, so it would have to be like a Pixar hotel. If they're keeping like the naming conjunction. Is that the right word?
I don't know.
So they would have to make it a Pixar hotel, which I feel like, now I haven't been in there in a few years, but I feel like they have a good foundation for that. They could easily like transform that into sort of a Finding Nemo themed hotel. Like there's a lot of beachy things.
Yes. Yeah, because like the whole thing about Paradise Pier is like have fun in the sun, and it's like surfboard and sunshine themed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Finding Nemo would be cool.
Yeah, you just have to be, the above water portions. Hopefully without the dentist's office though.
Yeah, no dentist office. But I wonder like what they're doing. When I was working there, so I left the company in 2017 and they were like pretty much just wrapping up a refurbishment of the guest rooms at the Grand Californian. And now I think they did a light refurbishment at the Disneyland Hotel, like really light refurbishment. And they're building that new tower at the Disneyland Hotel. So I wonder if Paradise Pier Hotel is next. I just feel like it's kind of outdated. It just seems a little tired compared to the other two and a little neglected compared to the other two.
I can see that, yeah. And it would make sense for it to be next, considering they've done the other two. And if you assume they're on a cycle, then
it's time.
There you
go. It's time. I know. I really hope it becomes a Pixar hotel. I think that would kind of revitalize that hotel because it's kind of like the ugly stepchild. It's like when you talk to people, like it's nobody's first choice at the Disneyland resort for where to stay.
Well, the Grand Californian was booked, and so was the Disneyland Hotel. So, but we could get into the Paradise Pier. So,
yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
So, book your stays early.
Yes. Let's talk about DVC, which is Disney Vacation Club, the timeshare. What's up with DVC at the Disneyland Resort?
So you can stay at the villas at the Disney Grand Californian. And I have not stayed in one, but I have been in one, and it was like around Christmas time. I don't remember who it was that got in. I think it was one of our mom's friends.
I remember that.
Yeah. And we watched the World of Color show from the room, which was really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Best view I've ever gotten of that show.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's it that currently exists. As we've mentioned previously, they are building a new tower of villas at the Disneyland Hotel.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. The capacity of DVC units at the Disneyland Resort overall is so small. It's really sad. There's just not that many rooms. Whereas at Walt Disney World, like some of the resorts are entirely DVC properties, like Saratoga Springs Resort, like Old Key West Resort. Those are 100% DVC properties. However, if you're a cash guest, you can book a DVC room, and it's like a deluxe resort. You can book that with cash. That's fine. And then a lot of the deluxe resorts have DVC towers or DVC buildings. Like there's Bay Lake Tower at the Contemporary. There's the Boulder Ridge Villas at Wilderness Lodge. We talked a little bit about Animal Kingdom Villas. They've got Kidani Village, which is entirely DVC. So there's just a lot more options at Walt Disney World. And people who visit Disneyland, like they try to rent DVC points or they try to stay like cash in a DVC room. That's just not going to happen. Capacity is so limited. And when I was working there, I transferred to front desk and guest services. And like part of our job was to know all the different room types. So I had to, like part of the training is physically walking through rooms, right? And because there's so few villas, I had a hard time getting into one of the 3-bedroom villas to see what it looked like. So I remember I got to go in when the housekeepers were in there changing it over. It was a complete mess, but I got to walk in it and see what it looked like really quick. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the new tower at Disneyland Hotel. Should be pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that you said in your little spiel there, I think we're going to echo a lot. And there's a lot more at Disney World.
Yes. Yes, a lot more.
Except in our next category, which is good neighbor hotels.
Yeah. So good neighbor hotels are hotels that are like officially partnered with Disney. Like if you go to Disney's website, you can click the little drop down thing and it'll say like other great hotels in the area. And these are all listed on Disney's website. So they're not Disney owned hotels, but Disney officially recommends them. So these are legit. These are good hotels. So what's going on at Disneyland? Because this is pretty interesting.
So there are 57 good neighbor hotels at Disneyland. Yeah. There's just, oh my God, there's just so many of them. I cannot list them all, but it's, you can get anything from a Motel 6 to like a Marriott or a Westin or a Hilton. It's just anything in between those. And one of the reasons there's so many is because of the hotel. Walt Disney didn't build the Disneyland Hotel. They didn't have money to build the Disneyland Hotel. They didn't control the land and the profits around Disneyland to build hotels. So a lot of the hotels that are there were built in the 50s and in the 60s and in the very early days of Disneyland. So they've been around a while, and Disney has never bought them. But don't blame Disney for that. Leave them with the small business owners. A lot of them are independently owned. Like there's one that's like the Candy Cane Hotel and things like that.
There's that one that looks like a castle too.
Yeah, I think it's the Castle Hotel.
Yeah, I think it's the castle and its suites. But yeah, honestly, if I was one of those like owners of one of those small independently owned hotels and it had been in my family for generations, why would I sell to Disney? That's a
I would
gold
never
mine right
sell.
there, right? Like you're probably you can undercut Disney by 50% easily, right? Offer free parking, a cheap or a free breakfast, and you're making bank and you're walking distance to the park. Yeah.
And
I would never sell.
That's another thing is that almost all of these hotels are walking distance. There are some, so there's a couple of categories for distance listed on the Disneyland website, and one of them is across the street.
Literally.
The next category up is less than half a mile, then half a mile to a mile, and then the last category is more than 1 mile. And it doesn't get any more specific than more than 1 mile. But I Google Mapped a couple of them, and it was 1.5 miles, and the next one was 2 miles. So it's a little bit longer of a walking distance, but it's still technically walking distance.
And it's not that bad of a walk because you're walking by like business. You're walking by like McDonald's and Denny's and like,
all
there's
those other
stuff to
hotels
see
that you didn't book.
Yeah, exactly. To me, it's just like it's not that bad of a walk when you're already walking in the park all day. Like,
and it's a straight line, so
yeah,
you really can't get lost on the way there. It's not like you have to turn down 3 obscure streets. It's pretty much a straight shot.
yeah.
And then if you don't want to walk, many of these hotels do offer transportation to the Disneyland Resort for a fee. Then again, if you're staying at one that's across the street, like don't buy into the transportation unless you have like severe mobility issues. Don't just walk.
Yeah. Just walk. I mean, that's why you stay there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting to me. Like I would never like I said, if I was one of those hotel owners, I would never sell. And what's funny is, you look back at some of the plans that Disney had for like Westcott and expanding their parking, and you look at the plans and you're like, well, wait a minute, there's a hotel there.
Yeah.
Right? So some of their plans that they wanted to do included getting that land somehow, and that just never happened.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere one of there's a 7-Eleven right there on the corner of Catella and Harbor, I think. It's like right by the convention center behind Cars Land.
I think I can see it in my mind's eye, but I could not give you the street names.
It's like on the same block as the convention center, and I swear I read somewhere that's in like the top profiting 7-Elevens in the country.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. They can sell water bottles for like $1.25, and you go into the parks and they're more than double that, maybe even triple. Like, I'm gonna buy my water bottle from the 7-Eleven. Thanks.
Yeah, on my half-mile walk into the park, I'm gonna buy my water bottle. Yeah. As opposed to like the $5 in the parks they're charging now for a water bottle. Yeah. And it's Dasani. It's not good water. It's gross. Anyways, meanwhile, in Florida, there's only like 17 Good Neighbor hotels that are recommended by Disney, and they're all in the Disney Springs area and in Flamingo Crossings. And I live very close to Flamingo Crossings, like it's a 5-minute drive from my house. And unlike Disneyland, you cannot walk to the parks from these Good Neighbor hotels. Good luck. I mean, it's a long walk, and there are no sidewalks, no crosswalks, and you'll probably get stopped by security or a police officer.
Or an alligator.
Yeah, like you just cannot walk. It's impossible. From the Disney Springs area hotels, you can obviously get to Disney Springs, and then you could take a bus to the park. But that's a pain in the neck, to be honest. Like, I just wouldn't do it. Some of the hotels offer transportation. Some of it, might be for a fee, or it's like every 30 minutes the bus leaves for this park. Some of them have free breakfast. They have free parking. And then there's other hotels that are on property that are very, very nice, like the Four Seasons Resort Orlando. That is a nice hotel. Very nice.
Four Seasons, I mean.
Yeah, I want to stay there. And then there's the Walt Disney World Swan, Dolphin, and Swan Reserve. The Swan Reserve is brand new. It opened a couple months ago. Those three hotels are like right near the board. They're right on the boardwalk area. And actually, the boat transportation between Epcot and Hollywood Studios stops there. So you could take the boat from that hotel to Hollywood Studios or Epcot. And they are affiliated with Marriott. So if you're part of like the Marriott Rewards program, you can use your points to book there, which is pretty cool. But they do have daily resort fees, whereas the Walt Disney World owned resorts do not have daily resort fees. It's kind of built into the higher price of staying on property. But yeah, those are good options too. So there's a lot of options here in Orlando. I've stayed at a couple off-property hotels here. I've stayed at one in Flamingo Crossings called Home 2 Suites. I can really recommend that one. They had a free breakfast with Mickey waffles, which was awesome, and free parking. And the room was really big, and it had a kitchenette that was bigger than the DVC studio kitchenettes. Like it had a full fridge and freezer and a microwave. It didn't have a mini fridge. It was a full fridge and freezer, which was awesome. So yeah.
That's part of the whole Home 2 Suites thing, though.
Yes.
I stayed at one in San Antonio, and it was same kind of deal. It was.
I love Home 2 Suites.
Yeah.
I really do. They're a great value.
Yeah, and it's like a home away from home. Like it gives you it makes you feel like you're staying just like you're just renting an apartment for however long you're there.
Yeah, yeah. And in Flamingo Crossings, you drive like 2 minutes down the road and there's a sign that says "Welcome to Walt Disney World." So it's not on property, but you drive a couple minutes and you see Coronado Springs Resort on your left and Animal Kingdom backstage on your right. You're right there. So yeah. All right, let's talk about perks for people who stay on property at both coasts. Let's talk about parking at the hotels. Is parking free?
No way.
No.
No.
No, parking is not free at Walt Disney World either. The only exception is if you're staying on DVC points.
Yeah, same with Disneyland.
Yeah, and then at Walt Disney World, if you're a resort guest, you get free parking at the theme parks if you happen to drive a car.
If you're staying at a Disneyland hotel, why would you drive to theme park parking when you can walk to the theme parks?
Yeah, no.
Or take the monorail.
Yeah, exactly. There's no need. How do you get into your room at the Disneyland hotel?
There's a digital key on the Disneyland app that you just have to turn on your Bluetooth and it talks to the door and the door says, "Oh, you're here. I'll let you in now." I assume it doesn't actually say the words, but it just processes that. Magic bands are coming soon. But for now, it's the digital key on the app. I also would assume that they have, key cards just in case.
Yeah.
But I did not look up to confirm that. Just,
I'm pretty sure they
have
do.
A backup.
Disney World, same thing. You can use your Magic Band, which they no longer give for free for hotel guests. So
Boo.
RIP. Yeah. Or you can use the app to enter. Okay, both coasts have concierge lounges or club level, which is kind of a cool thing if you have extra money to burn. Basically, what the concierge level is, you pay an extra amount per night, and they're not available at every resort at Walt Disney World, but they are at Disneyland. You pay an extra amount per night, and you get access to a lounge. And the lounge has snacks for breakfast. It's enough to make a full meal, in my opinion. It's not a hot breakfast, but they'll have like croissants and bagels and yogurt and cereal and stuff like that. Lunch, they'll have little snacks, little finger sandwiches, and then dinner, kind of the same thing. They'll have desserts. They at the Grand Californian, I know they have alcohol, like wine and beers included, and then you can take like soda cans and water bottles to go, bags of chips to go. Yeah, I've stayed club level at Paradise Pier Hotel, and we played board games and watched movies.
Now, theme park transportation from the hotels. Again, Disneyland, you can walk, or you can walk to the monorail and hop on the monorail. Not the case at Disney World.
Yeah, at Disney World, every resort has buses somewhere. Some resorts are within walking distance to the parks. Like if you're staying at the boardwalk area, you can walk to Hollywood Studios or Epcot. If you're staying in the Magic Kingdom area, you can walk from the Grand Floridian or the Contemporary to Magic Kingdom. Otherwise, there's the monorail, buses, there's ferry boats, the Skyliner. You've got tons of options. Next up, we've got early theme park entry at Walt Disney World. They recently changed it so that every day, each park, like every park, has 30 minutes early entry to resort guests.
And it used to be an hour, right?
Yeah, and they would rotate which park had the early entry. But now it's all 4 parks every day, 30 minutes.
Yeah. When there is not a plague, the Disneyland resorts also do an extra magic hour, and I do believe it is still the full hour.
Yeah.
They have made, if they have announced that it will be otherwise, I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen anything either.
But yeah,
I hope they bring it back because that's a nice perk.
Yeah, it really is. Having that extra hour makes a big difference. And I know the last time that we did that, it wasn't the full park open, but you could still get some hot ticket rides done.
Yeah, I remember Mom and I, well, okay, last time we stayed there, the 4 of us, you, me, Mom, and Dad. You and Dad, I think, went to Cars Land or something, and me and Mom went to Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
And we were the only ones on Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
And it was so awesome. That was really cool.
I do remember that. I remember the picture of you and Mom on the ride, and it's just like, you too. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Dad and I chased the crowds to Cars Land.
Yep. So at Walt Disney World, in addition to that 30 minutes early every day, now this move was really unpopular. Deluxe resort guests get extra hours in the evening at select parks on select nights. So not every night, not every park, and it's only for deluxe resort guests. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. That's kind of how, 2/3 of the resort guests felt.
For somebody, I mean, I always stay at value, so it's like, come on, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like really pushing the deluxe there.
Yes, they are. Some things that Disney World has that Disneyland doesn't. If you're a resort guest, you can charge to your Magic Band if you have a Magic Band. Lightning Lane, which is the new paid fast pass on property, guests get early access to purchase that every day. They can start at 7 a.m. And then for dining reservations, you can make those 60 days out for the entire length of your stay instead of 1 day at a time.
That's nice. It's really convenient when you're, booking your trip and planning it out to be able to do that.
Yes, and as a local, it's really frustrating because there's some reservations I want that are hard to get.
Yeah. I get that too, because last time when I came out, we wanted to go to Oga's Cantina, and I had to be on at the first time I could, like the first thing in the morning, and even then I got really lucky.
All right, what are some other perks at Disneyland hotels?
So there's, the typical hotel fare where you got the pools and spas and water slides and pool cabanas. There used to be pool parties. For understandable reasons, there are not currently pool parties. Fitness centers. There are also instructor-led classes, though not right now. Going through the Disneyland website, looking at their hotels, it felt like I was looking at a list of, sorry, we're not currently offering these things. And it took me forever scrolling down the page to find what they are currently offering. So not currently offering there's tours where you can do like the hotel history or like information about the theming of the hotel. And they're free tours for like all hotel guests, and they're really good. You just can't do one right now. There were at one point little scavenger hunts that you could do, and you got like buttons that were like they were attraction posters, like the old Pirates of the Caribbean poster. I know for sure because I finished all the scavenger hunts. They were really easy for me.
Yeah.
I collected all the prizes. I collected all the buttons.
Yeah.
And one thing that you and I did back in the day, the time that we stayed at the Grand Californian, was we did that e-ticket tour of California Adventure, where we paid for it, had to provide your own park admission, but you got to jump the line, all of the e-tickets.
Yeah, that was really fun. I wish they still offered that.
Yeah, it was a great time, and it was geared toward teens, and we were teens at the time, so.
Yeah. So Walt Disney World does similar things for guests. They've got like movies either on the lawn or at the pool, movie nights. They've got pool parties. You can make s'mores at the campfire. And actually, last month, we did the candlelight processional, and my husband and son didn't go because we didn't think my son would sit through it. So my husband took our son to the Riviera Resort, and they were doing s'mores, and okay, we're not a hotel guest, but they walked up and did it. Nope, no problem.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect for a 3-year-old.
And it's free, so there you go. They do scavenger hunts as well, and right now there's a special one for the 50th anniversary, which I keep seeing the signs for them. Like I see what you're supposed to find, but I haven't done the scavenger hunt yet. It says things like Haunted Mansion D ticket or E ticket or whatever. It's like a little sign that they've placed in various places. So I think what you're supposed to do is find like the A ticket, B ticket, C, D, and E ticket attraction signs throughout the resort. But yeah,
So
they've
when
got
you do finally do it, you'll have a head start.
yeah, that's right. But yeah, they've got, the pool cabanas and they have fitness centers. They've got all that stuff as well.
Yeah.
Lots of really fun things to do. So speaking of fun things to do, let's dive into that a little bit more. At Walt Disney World, the pools are really well themed, no matter what resort you're staying at, value, moderate, deluxe, like they're a lot of fun. At the value resorts, you won't find water slides or hot tubs. Those are only at moderates and above. But they're a fun place to hang out. They're very colorful and festive and super fun. Some of the hotels have rental opportunities, like you can rent a boat, or like today I was at the boardwalk and they have the Surrey bikes available for rent, so you can like ride around on a 4-seater bike. Fort Wilderness has the Tri-Circle D Ranch, which is where the horses for Main Street, that's like where they hang out. So you can go see the horses, and they've got pony rides. Some of the resorts have tie-dye events, so you can tie-dye a shirt, and that's like an extra fee and stuff. There's definitely enough that you could spend a full day or two exploring everything that resorts have to offer. And I know one thing I really want to do is some of the resorts have like fun run 5Ks. Like I know Saratoga Springs has one. When we stayed there, when we stayed there one time, like Saratoga Springs is like horse racing themed. Like that's the theme of the
Okay.
resort. So we would hear and like the 5K would start. So that was kind of cool. So I
I
would love to
question
go do that. I mean, I want to get the medal. So,
Okay,
yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Anyways, what are some fun things to do at
So
Disney hotels?
all of the hotels do have at least one pool. The pool at the Disneyland Hotel, it has like monorail slide. I almost said Matterhorn. It's not Matterhorn themed. It's like they have monorail slides, and those are really
Yeah.
cool. And then the Grand Californian pool is, I want to say it's like Shipwreck Peter Pan. That's like what I'm seeing in
No,
my mind. No?
no. It's so funny that you say that though, but because the Disneyland Hotel used to have that theme before they remodeled it. No, the Grand
Wow.
Californian is like redwood themed.
Okay. Well, I mean, I didn't go into the pool when we stayed there, so
No. You slide down like a tree trunk.
okay. Okay. I just know that like you walk past the pool, like the pool is right across from the Storyteller Cafe, which we ate at a lot. And you
Yeah.
would walk past it also when you were going to the Grand Californian entrance to California Adventure. So I have seen it a lot.
Yeah.
I just have never been to it, and I always remember walking by and going, "Man, that pool looks so cool."
I don't think I've been to it either, and I kind of regret not
Yeah.
going into it.
Yeah, we should have. Mom, Dad, we have to go back.
Come on, please.
Mom, I know you're listening to this. Take us back to the Grand Californian so we can go swimming.
Christmas is only like 11 months away.
Yeah.
Anyways, the pool at the Paradise Pier Hotel is really kind of sad.
Yeah. Isn't it like on the roof? Or am
It's
I
on,
making that up?
I think it's on the third floor actually.
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely higher up and it's just not themed very well.
Yeah.
It's themed it's themed like hang out in the sun and get tan. Like that's the theme, you
I
know?
mean, I guess it goes with the rest of the hotel, but it's not very strong there.
No, it's like yellow and blue striped umbrellas with like a concrete pool deck and a bright yellow slide.
Okay, so they have the yellow and blue already. They just need to add like a red star to it, and there you have the Pixar ball. There
There
you
you
go.
go. Yeah.
Disney,
Yeah.
pay us.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I feel like the Disneyland hotels just don't have as much to do as the Walt
Yeah.
Disney World
I
hotels.
feel like maybe they're like pushing theme parks more than
Yeah.
hotels.
I think they do have movie nights, or at least they did. I
Yeah, they did.
remember Yeah, I remember seeing the recreation cast members set that up. Yeah, they don't do like the campfire and the s'mores thing. I don't know. It just doesn't feel
Yeah.
as exciting to me. Like at Walt Disney World, I feel like you could easily spend an entire day at the resort, but I don't think you could say the same for Disneyland Resort. Now, restaurants are a totally different beast. We have not really talked about restaurants, but let me tell you, the restaurants at the resorts of Walt Disney World are really, really good for the most part. There's a ton of different dining options. The value resorts, they only have food courts, so that's, I mean, and pool bars, which you gotta have a pool bar, right? Um, but as far as table service go, from moderates to deluxes, like you've got everything from fine dining to character dining. There's ice cream soda shops, Italian food, like there's so many different types of restaurants. You can find something for everybody, and I've got my favorite restaurants. I know you do too. Like you've got yours at the top of your list. So make sure if there's a place that you want to go eat, you've got to make those dining reservations 60 days in advance, and give yourself plenty of time to get from point A to point B because it can take an hour at least to get from one place to another.
Yeah, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you need dining reservations anywhere at the Disneyland Resort. You can pretty much just walk up and get a table within a reasonable amount of time as long as it's not like, a party of 18 at the peak dinner hour.
Uh, I feel like Napa Rose and Blue Bayou are probably harder to get,
Yeah, I
but
would say those are the exceptions there.
yeah, but I feel like the Disneyland Resort hotels, the restaurant options are dwindling. Like they closed Steakhouse 55, so Disneyland Hotel doesn't even have a table service restaurant anymore.
Wow. So does that mean that the only like really fine dining option at any of the hotels is Napa Rose?
Yes.
Okay. The good
Yeah.
news is that downtown Disney is also walking distance to the hotels, and there's plenty of dining there. So,
I'm just
although
trying to,
the hotel options are limited, you are not limited.
yeah, I'm just trying to picture like what the cast member is going to tell a guest who's mad about the restaurant being closed because the Disneyland Hotel is a AAA four diamond resort and there's no sit down dining option. You've got Trader Sam's and Tangaroa Terrace. One of them's a bar slash lounge, and one of them's quick service. Oh, and then you've got like the coffee bar, which is only
Yeah.
open for breakfast, right? That's it. And you're paying like $400 a night to stay there, roughly.
What happened to the like character breakfast dining? Was that at Steakhouse 55 or is that
Oh
somewhere
my
else?
gosh, Goofy's Kitchen. You're right. I don't remember
Yeah.
if that. Oh, Goofy's Kitchen is open. I'm sorry. I'm dumb. I
Yeah.
forgot. That's a buffet, and that's character dining. Is it open? Let me look it up really quick. Yeah, it's open,
And
but
then
it's
I
a
would assume that current times the characters don't actually come close to your table, but they do like appearances and like
yeah.
wave to everybody.
Yeah, they probably just trot around the restaurant like they do at Chef Mickey's. But yeah, to not have like a fine dining table, like yeah, the only fine dining experience is Napa Rose when you're looking at the hotels.
So make your reservations for Napa Rose if you want a fine dining experience,
Yeah,
because
and
that's it. That's all you
honestly,
got.
honestly, I would put that as besides like Club 33, I would probably put that as the finest dining experience right now at the entire Disneyland Resort.
Yeah, I have never been there
Oh, I
because
thought you had.
I am extremely budget conscious.
Okay.
So I like always stay at the value hotels. Like I think of all the times I've stayed at the Disneyland hotels, I've paid out of pocket once. I mom and dad obviously paid for the Grand California and we were kids
Yeah.
then. Like,
Yeah.
I like to save money
Okay, that's
and
fair. That's fair.
yeah.
Well, for a special occasion, if you're going back, Napa Rose is very, very good. I've been twice, I think, two or three times. But they've got like the chef's table where you can sit and watch the kitchen prepare and like talk to the chef and stuff, and they do wine pairings and everything. So that's the reason that I would put it above Carthay Circle and the atmosphere because it's not in the theme park, it's in the hotel. It's a little bit more laid back and it's definitely not uptight. It's laid back and not hectic like the middle of a theme park. Sometimes like Carthay Circle is very good. That's in California Adventure. It's
It's
excellent
so
food.
good.
Yeah, but you walk right outside and you're boom in the theme park and there's
Yeah.
people and it's part of the hub of California Adventure, right? So it's always busy over there. It's not tucked
Hmm.
away in some corner. Whereas Napa Rose, it's like a quiet corner of the Grand Californian and it's somewhat romantic and it's a nice place.
Yeah.
I would definitely go there.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about like where we recommend staying for each coast. Allie, what do you recommend?
I really like to be immersed in the Disney magic. I'm all Disney all the way. So I would say on site for both of them. It's more convenient, it's more magical. There's more Disney.
Okay. Okay, I can see that. For me, for Walt Disney World, I recommend on-site, especially if you have kids that need car seats. I know, okay, Allie, you don't have kids, but
Nope.
traveling with kids is kind of logistically difficult. Like
Oh yeah.
we're thinking of going back to California over the summer, and so we're like, okay, when we get there, we're gonna need two car seats. Okay, we have one, so we're gonna have to rent another, somehow acquire another when we get there for the rental car, right? So when we think about it that way, like, okay, if we were traveling to Walt Disney World, once we get to our hotel on Disney World property, we don't need any car seats because we can take the bus or the Skyliner or the monorail everywhere. So if you can get from the airport to the hotel without needing a car seat, which you can do by taking the bus from the airport to the hotel, then you're good. And that's like logistically one less thing you have to worry about, right? At that point, you just need a stroller, which is pretty easy to handle. You're right there, immersed in the magic the whole time. You're close to the theme parks. It's just so much more convenient. The pools are really cool. I think if you're traveling with kids, that's the way to go. If you're
So
more,
I
go ahead.
forgive my ignorant question, but you mentioned you don't need a car seat on the bus. Is it like flying on an airplane where you just have to keep your child firmly held on your lap the whole time, or?
I mean, I guess you could put them in the seat next to you. So let me back it up a little bit. Disney used to offer a free bus called Disney's Magical Express. So if you're staying on one of the Disney resort hotels, you would just take Disney's Magical Express for free from the airport to your
And
hotel.
they would pick up your checked luggage for you and drop it
Yes,
off at your room. It was amazing.
yes, and that no longer exists.
Rip.
Yeah, that was operated by a company called Mears, and the contract with Mears, Disney just couldn't work out. The two of them couldn't come to an agreement. So now Mears is operating a very similar service. They're using the buses. They just stripped all the Disney lingo off of it, and they're charging for that now. They'll take your luggage. I mean, you have to collect your luggage and put it on the bus, but they'll take you, your luggage, and they'll drop you off at your Disney hotel, and they're charging for that. But yeah, I mean, like if I took my kid, I would just plop him on the seat next to me. I wouldn't have to hold him or anything.
Well,
Um,
you have another much smaller child though too.
yeah, I would hold her on my lap because she can't
Okay.
can't sit in her own seat. Anyway, she's barely handling a high chair right now.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's just an easy way to travel without having to haul extra stuff around. But if you don't have kids and you're more budget conscious, like we talked about, the deluxe resort guests only getting those extra evening hours. Everybody used to get extra evening hours if you're staying on property, and it used to be an hour instead of 30 minutes in the morning. And Walt Disney World fans have been talking recently a lot about how perks are being taken away. Like Magical Express is gone, and that used to be free. Magic Bands, which were free, are now gone. The extra magic hours have changed. There's no free fast passes anymore. So a lot of perks are being taken away, and to me, the big perk is the convenience of being close to the parks and having your transportation taken care of. So if you are somebody who can deal with Ubers or like you're traveling with friends and you can split the cost of an Uber to the park or something, then it might be worth it for you to stay off property. But you're going to have to take a look at your budget, and it depends what's more important to you, I guess. Is it more important to you to be that close to the magic and immersed in it? Or is saving money that much more important to you? But I guess I give the slight edge to staying on site at Walt Disney World. Disneyland Resort, I would not stay on site because it's so expensive. Paradise Pier Hotel can go for like $300 a night. Grand Californian I've seen for like $600 a night, and these are for standard rooms. Like that's insane. And to
It's a
me,
lot.
the perks of staying on site are not worth it to me, especially when like they're still not offering extra magic hours. Like the perk
Yeah.
right now is you can walk to the park, but you can walk to the park from offsite. You
Yeah.
know, like that's just it's just not worth it to me. The
Yeah.
pools are cool, yes, but are they $600 a night cool? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will give you that. I will grant you in the time of the plague where a lot of these things aren't happening at Disneyland, not worth it. Not worth it
No.
to stay on site. Maybe post plague. We'll see. I would still say on site for post plague at this point, assuming that all the things that aren't currently offered will be offered again. But again, like I said, Disney, all magic all the time. So
I'm surprised that you say that being a budget conscious person though.
here's the thing. I don't like my mindset of going to Disneyland. I'm typically thinking, oh, I'll stay at mom and dad's house or I'll stay at my in-laws' house. Like, I don't like, I've never really looked at the prices of staying at a hotel at Disneyland because
You
it's
should
always
look.
been, I have free lodging with family.
Yeah. So if money were no object, you would stay on site.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. See,
At the Grand Californian in the most expensive room, if money
if
were no object.
if money were an object, what would you do?
Shop around.
Okay. Would the magic be enough to tip the scale for you to definitely stay on site?
Not since March 2020 to present, I
Okay,
don't
let's
think.
let's assume COVID didn't happen.
I would probably still stay on site.
That surprises me a lot.
I mean, it would only be like 2 nights.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
it's different.
surprised.
Staying 2 nights at Disneyland, you can do all the parks, but like, you can't do that not at California. You can't do that in Florida. You can't just stay 2 nights and do everything. Like it works out to the same. Staying like 4 nights at a hotel at Disney World is the same as like staying 2 nights at a hotel in Disneyland, right?
Okay, that's fair. I see that. You've made me think about some things.
CJ
Interesting.
rethinking her entire life to this point.
Yeah. Hmm. I don't know. I have such a hard time. It's just so exorbitantly expensive. Like, I would not stay at the only reason I stayed at Paradise Pier Hotel was because I got a cast member rate and it was $170 for one night. If I had to pay full price for Paradise Pier, I would not stay there. It's not worth it. If I had to pay full price for Disneyland Hotel, I would love to because I love that hotel, but when it's 350, 400 a night, I have a very hard time justifying that. A very hard time. I love the pool. I love the vibe. I love they have the light up headboards that play the song. It's so magical. They have the floor to ceiling windows. It's just so expensive. And I'm like, is it worth it? And I keep thinking, no, it's not worth it. But my heart says yes. Anyways, let's move on to the final showdown. So now that we've got the facts laid out, it's time for the final showdown. Can we see eye to eye? Does one side stand out above the crowd? Alli, tell me your thoughts.
So for on-site hotels, it's absolutely Disney World. No doubt about it. There's just so many more options, and it's, for the budget conscious traveler to the money is no object traveler, like there is something for you, and it's so convenient. So absolutely on-site Walt Disney World 100%.
And you know what? I'm going to have to agree with you. And I don't think that's any surprise. And I think you hit the nail on the head with no matter what your budget is and no matter what you're looking for, you're going to find something. I mean, if you want to go camping in a tent, you can do that at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
If you want to stay in a 2-story, 3-bedroom suite overlooking the savannah at Animal Kingdom Lodge, you can do that. There are so many different options. And I think no matter what your budget is, you're going to find something that will please you and you'll have a magical time and you're going to get hooked and want to come back and splash around in the pools and see the fireworks and go resort hopping and have a blast. Yeah, it's just a fun place to stay.
And then for off-site hotels, my answer might surprise you, but Disneyland. There's so many more options. There's 57 options. And that's just the good neighbor hotels. I mean, I'm sure there's 100 more hotels within X amount of miles. Like, there's so many options that you can stay around the Disneyland Resort that I would say that's the winner for offsite.
Yeah, for offsite, I'm split on this one.
But normally I'm the one who's split.
I know. See, the thing is, a lot of the offsite hotels at Disneyland do charge for parking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a bummer.
Okay, counterpoint. A lot of hotels in the United States charge for parking.
Do they, though?
Yes. Every hotel in Austin will charge for parking. At least in downtown Austin. Every hotel in downtown San Antonio will charge for parking.
Yeah,
Every hotel in Dallas and Houston will charge for parking.
Yeah, I think that's like a major city thing.
If you're in a city, you will be charged for parking. If you're staying in Podunk, USA, maybe not. Like,
okay, that's true. Okay, I'm going to give the slight edge to Anaheim, and it doesn't have to do with the number of hotels because there are a lot of hotels in Orlando as well. It has to do with the fact that you can walk to Disneyland. Very, very easily walk to Disneyland. Like you can walk to restaurants. You know, there's like is it Mimi's Cafe right there? There's McDonald's, there's Denny's.
Yeah. There's a Cheesecake Factory within walking distance too.
Oh yeah, there's the whole Garden Walk, which is like a non-Disney downtown Disney, but like a third of the size.
Yeah, it's a block. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things to do within walking distance of it. Like the hotel district on what is that? The east side of Disneyland is like I think that's the east side, the harbor side. Is that Harbor Boulevard?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that whole side is like the hotel district, right? And there's restaurants and from sit down place. Isn't there like a really fancy steakhouse? I don't think it's Morton's, but it's along the same lines.
Yeah, it might be Morton's actually. Trying to visualize it, it's not coming to mind.
So long.
It's been so long.
There's McDonald's, Denny's, Mimi's, there's a fancy steakhouse, Cheesecake Factory. Like there's so many different restaurants and they're all within walking distance. And that's a huge perk at the end of the night or even in the middle of the day. If you just need a break, you can just go walk back there really easily. So for offsite, Disneyland wins. You've convinced me.
We see eye to eye on this one.
We do. Okay, outro time.
Okay, so thank you all for joining us for this episode where we talked about the hotels of Walt Disney World and the Disneyland resorts. Hey, let us know what you think. Reach out to us on social media, Park2Park Pod. We're on Instagram and Twitter, although guilty as charged. I don't think I've updated Twitter since, like I said, hey, our first episode's live. But I will check it. I will get a notification if you tag me or DM me. Anyways, you can also email us at park2parkpod@gmail.com. All of those with the number 2. CJ, what are we talking about next time?
We're talking about the surrounding areas of Disneyland Resort and Walt Disney World. So, why did Walt choose these places? What are some other things to do in these areas? That kind of stuff.
All right. It sounds like a fun ride for sure. Get it? Because theme park rides.
Oh, that was so bad.
Yeah, well, it's getting late for both of us. It is late night. Our brains are melting. And hey, you know what? We'll see you next time. Thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to rate us. And hey, send us an email telling us if you like Sleepy CJ and Alli or if you like Awake CJ and Alli better. Let us know.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.